Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Biajilu Ugbo in the building. You miss your colored hair. It's been a while. You know, I've not seen you in your nice hair. Yeah, it's been a minute.
I beg, I have moods these days. Different moods for different things.
How you doing?
So Easter was good. I was just home resting with the kids. Yesterday, they had to go back to school. So it was left with the little
Easter
girl.
Monday.
Because they are resuming school today now, so they are in the boarding house. They have to go with their luggages, so we had to drop them off yesterday. And when we came back, it was just resting, eating, Netflixing, and just chilling. So work starts. Let me still rest more. I'm still in the resting mood. Although I woke up yesterday and I had to do my exercises. I hadn't done that in like 3 weeks because of the accident I had. But I'm a lot better now, so I'm picking up the exercises again, and you know the dieting will also resume today or tomorrow.
It's been a while I spoke to you. I wonder how come I don't know about the accident, but I'm glad you're better.
Oh, okay. I've been mentioning it in bits now. I shifted my waist. I want to go and carry heavy gym, heavy weight lifts. You know, but I'm a lot better now. So that's it.
Did you lick your ice cream?
Yes, of course.
Which ice cream again?
When she wants to Netflix and she must lick ice cream.
Definitely, most there.
Amaka Fresh.
Yes,
How you
my
doing?
darling. I love your. As in, please, can we exchange outfits?
Oh, I got it online. Though. They're just saying it was all those random online.
Everybody looks amazing.
Thank you, darling.
I'm fine. It was a nice holiday. There's just something with I and Easter holidays. It's not doesn't bring back great memories.
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, no, I'd mentioned that like for 4 years straight, I used to spend Easter in the hospital. So I and Easter we just don't get along. And then unfortunately, I was going through some kind of pains, and then I ended up at Evercare yesterday for my friends. So yeah, but whatever. Yeah, I had a great Easter holiday. And how are you?
I had a nice time as well. Definitely family. So usually Easter holidays like that, you would cook. Yes. Maybe have family come over, but this Easter I was like, I can't, just cannot. So we went out to eat, and that was just, it was so much better for me. I felt good. I just didn't want the extra stress of cooking and preparing, so that was nice. And then, of course, went to visit with family yesterday. So it's been really restful period and really easy. I loved it. I really enjoyed this holiday in particular. Yeah.
All you Christians you showed up yesterday as well. Good for Easter Monday. You had all hanging out with family. We were praying.
I was here Friday and Saturday. Excuse me. Jesus no. Because we fight this morning. I was here Friday, Saturday. I needed my weekend.
Jesus needed us.
My weekend.
I said that you Christians. But no, am I fighting? I did not go good. I said you Christians were missing.
I'm happy you represented us.
Exactly. Are you not a Christian too?
Because the Muslim colleagues were the ones that were showing up.
I was here Good Friday.
And that's what
and they represented you well.
Yeah, and that's what it's about.
Yes, look at them. He got one day off. But I was here yesterday, so I had the weekend. Yesterday I also rested. After I got back from the show, I just stayed home, did some cooking. Unfortunately, my kids don't like ogbono again.
Okay.
So I made a whole pot of ogbono.
They are evolving.
Wait. Who used to make the ogbono?
I like that. Oh goodness.
So could it be you now make your ogbono?
Hi, she really hit you. She hit you.
When we come back, we continue with the show. It's Monday morning. We'll be Mariam. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Bye-bye, Pope Francis, world mourns humble pontiff, the Vatican head of state. Hoodlums in dawn attack on Osun High Court building. Mr. President returns. IG raises probe panel on Natasha's threat to life allegation against Akpabio. EFCC arrests 2 suspects over the 1.3 trillion naira CBEX scam. NNPCL slashes petrol pump price to 880 naira per litre. IMF urges nations with huge debt to seek restructuring. Okay, which story?
Okay, let me start with the Pope. So as we are aware, we all woke up to the sad passing of, the Pope. And according to the nation, it says the bid stopped for Pope Francis early yesterday, less than 24 hours after celebrating Easter with the faithful. He was 88 years old. They said at 9:45 a.m. local time in Rome, the church announced the death of Pope Francis from Casa Santa Marta. They said that they talked about his life. They said his entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and for his church. And of his church, he taught us to live the values of the gospel with fidelity, courage, and universal love, especially in favor of the poorest and most marginalized, and and so on and so forth. And we also had world leaders. We had our president, who also paid his tributes. Our president said that he called on the world to honor the late Pope Francis, not only through tributes, but concrete action that reflects the values of the pontiff stood for, lifting the poor, healing communities, and defending human dignity. We had dignitaries from across the world, paying their tributes to the late Pope. May his soul rest in peace.
Amen.
And for all the Catholic faithfuls, especially, and all Christians generally,
The time of mourning.
Yes, the time of mourning and the end of an era,
Yes.
as they say.
Yes.
Okay, let me take the IMF story. So the International Monetary Fund yesterday advised heavily indebted countries to seek debt restructuring where necessary to restore macroeconomic stability and sustainable growth across the world. In the report in Washington, D.C., the managing director, Kristalina Georgieva, said countries with unsustainable public debt need to move proactively to restore sustainability. According to her, the countries must take the difficult route of debt restructuring. She called on countries to also take resolute fiscal action to rebuild policy space, setting out gradual adjustments that would respect fiscal frameworks across the nations. Georgieva also outlined grave implications of trade tensions and tariff hikes to countries that differ, and putting that they're also going to plan to put, including putting many countries in tighter financial conditions if they refuse to restructure their loans to IMF. So this is a woman at the head of themselves doing her thing.
Okay, so the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, that's the EFCC, has arrested 2 suspects over the alleged loss of approximately 1.3 trillion to Crypto Bridge Exchange, that's the CyBEX. They said 4 Nigerians have been identified with the company, including 2 siblings. None of the names have been unveiled by the anti-graft agency. They also said that Britain had also been implicated, but the extent of his involvement was still under investigation. Now, operatives of the anti-graft agency in charge of the investigation has suspended it because of the public holiday on Friday. They suspended their public holiday to work around the clock, so they were still working even as at Friday. And according to a top source, the EFCC has recorded a breakthrough in arresting the 2 suspects. The source said, "We have started preliminary investigations, and the 2 suspects is a multi-dimensional probe of how CyBEX came into the nation's digital asset trading platform." The EFCC chairman, Ola Olukoyede, also traveled, but he returned to the country on Thursday, and he's personally leading the investigation. They said 5 individuals, including a Briton, are under the searchlight so far. They don't want to disclose. They are also not in a hurry so that they don't profile them wrongly. So they are taking their time. They are saying it's also very early to release the names of the suspects, but they are still helping to clarify how the company came into being and how they were operating. So there were speculations that they had they were asking for SEC approval. So the FCC chairman is saying that there's nothing like that. You cannot be operating before asking for that approval, that was very wrong. And investigations will show, a lot more. They say there are different angles to look at it from, how they were able to work with individuals, how they were able to get companies involved and all of that. They're going to sort out everything.
Big scam. Okay, so the United States of America has announced that starting from April 22nd, that there are now 5 new requirements for U.S. visa applicants in Nigeria. One of them is that you must have a matching DS-160 confirmation number. So your confirmation number for your application form must start with the letters, 2 letters AA, and then 00s for you to be able to schedule your appointment. And then if the barcode must match that of your appointment. The second one is that you must choose the correct appointment location. So if you chose in your application form that you wanted to go to Abuja, you must go to attend Abuja. You cannot switch or swap
Nothing
it.
changed?
Yes, cannot change it. You must double check the same DS-160 form. If there's any mistakes or whatever, you have to correct it and then rebook an appointment before coming in. And then and you can do that on their AVITS accounts 10 days before coming in. And that rescheduling, if rejected, you have to start all over again. So they said that you don't want people wasting their times going back and forth. So you must follow these 5 requirements for you to be able to attend any of your visa appointments if you're applying from Nigeria.
Okay, moving on now to Daily Sun. Outpouring of tears, grief over Pope Francis' death. BK Falana rate gets messier. Cibex oil gas investors hit hard as fraud surpasses 2 trillion naira. NNPCL slashes petrol pump price to 880 naira per litre. Rising energy costs killing industries and manufacturers cry out. Killings, Plateau Christians in mass protest in Jos, Mufang meets stakeholders. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Plateau State. So thousands of Christians from across the state, Plateau State, yesterday stormed the capital, that's Jos, in protest over the recent killings in Bokos and Basa local government areas, which, as we remember, claimed about 100 lives and led to destruction of property. So Christians under the aegis of Church Leaders Denominational Forum on the Plateau were mostly dressed in black and marched from the old government house in Rayfield to the new government house in Little Rayfield. There they presented their protest letter to the president, and it was through the state governor. The letter was signed by Cooking President and a few other stakeholders. And really what they were marching for is the recent wave of violence perpetrated by these terrorists that has resulted in cold-blooded murder of over 50 innocent civilians in Bokos alone, including defenseless women and children. They're saying these unconscionable acts of brutality represent a grievous violation of human rights and a stain on national conscience. And they are saying to the president, please, they also said Christians have, that they came out in their large numbers to once again demonstrate their unity as they grieve in honor of those who have been, who are dead, and also calling to end all killings by armed men and other killers operating in all states in Nigeria. They're crying out for justice and, invited all Christians to join in this march. And I stand with them, in spirit as well. I just hope that this would be the end of, protests like that, where we're protesting for justice, asking for the why. Why is it okay for people to just come into a community and just kill people and go? My help was affected by this. I remember how inconsolable she was, when this happened just a few days ago. It's sad, houses burnt, children killed. It's truly sad, and I just hate that we have to talk about this every time. It just does not seem like there's an end to this.
Yeah, really sad indeed. Let's take one more story for the break.
Yeah, so still on the Cybex story, they're saying that a strong indication emerged at the weekend that the oil and gas investors may have accounted for over 50% losses.
Oh.
Yes, recorded in the crypto exchange. So yes, they said thousands of Nigerians, that had their fingers burnt. Majority of them were in the oil and gas sector. They were able to infiltrate their companies. They had their WhatsApp groups, mainly. Because I was wondering how come many of us did not hear about it. So that sector largely invested their money. So now they're looking for their administrators of the WhatsApp groups. Some of them have run away. It was deliberately targeting people they know that can cough out a certain amount of money. Said this 1.3 that they are saying is more likely going to be more than 2 trillion if they look into it, because the gas and oil sector lost over 1 trillion already, not to talk of the ordinary Nigerians who invested in this, calling out the regulators that they need to do better to protect Nigerians and their properties.
All right, let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go, right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crimes of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe it's achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. Amadedoja Salamadini, I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Entertainment is life. That bit of life that makes life bearable, that makes it fun. And I know that what I do contributes to that, because I tell my staff that we are not just designers, we are actually selling joy and happiness. So when we're able to put a smile on somebody's face from the dress they wear, make someone very confident because of what they wear, we've done our job, and I'm sure that's entertainment.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jammies. So
My 20 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jammies.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, you for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, #1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for #1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym to get fat.
Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
Yeah, pole dancer does not strip.
You're already almost naked.
You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You see some spoils.
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's get talk now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy you.
Thanks for staying with us. Still reviewing the papers.
Yes, a price war is currently disrupting Nigeria's downstream fuel markets as intense competition among petrol retailers drives aggressive price cuts, creating instability amongst the sector. This is great news for Nigerian citizens. The disruption, which started with a price reduction announcement by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery last week from 920 naira to now 890 naira amongst its partners, which is MRS, Hayden, AP, Optima Energy, Hyde and Techno Oil, has seen other marketers now dropping their prices. Like NNPC, for example, at Apple Junction yesterday sold for 880 naira, even though other NNPC filling stations across Nigeria still sold at 910. And then the refinery equally has announced a further reduction from 865 to 835, which is a second reduction within the space of 1 week. This is amazing news. They said that according to the Dangote refinery, that these price reductions reaffirm its commitment to providing high-quality petrol at affordable rates, benefiting consumers across the nation. Thank you, Dangote. We love you. Keep producing it.
Vanguard. Moving on now to Vanguard. Killings. Governors say state under siege. claim reserves, forest taking over. APC National Assembly working to ensure Nigerians in diaspora vote, says Ganduje. Federal government refutes claims of agreed concession period for Enugu Airport. Manufacturers' unsold inventories surges 87.5% to 2.14 trillion naira. Pope Francis dies of stroke and heart failure, says Vatican. And Unity schools and Unity colleges actually boil over illegal levies and admission racketeering. Which story are we taking?
Unity schools. So it says that all is not well in federal government colleges. As what we know as Unity schools, parents are alleging various misconduct against the management. They've accused the leaders of PTAs of imposing illegal levies on them in connivance with school management. Some parents are alleging that some school principals and teachers collect as much as 600,000 naira to secure admission for their wards and children. This is scandalous, if you ask me. They're saying that the situation has degenerated to the point that some parents have now petitioned the Minister of Education to probe the activities of some of the PTAs. Some of the schools that have been mentioned, according to the paper, here they're talking about PTA management at King's College, Lagos. They're talking Queen's College, Yaba, Federal Science and Technology College, Yaba as well, and then Federal Government College, Janiki. So they're saying there's some sort of racketeering going on. You know, parents are saying with confidence that 500,000, 600,000 can secure admission for their children in some of these colleges. Some of the allegations here, they said there's a religious fee, which used to be optional, but have now been made compulsory, that they have to pay 1,000 naira. They said sometimes when they come to visit, they have to pay 2,000 naira to sit. That's for parents. That in fact, the billing has become so much, yes. Has become so much that now the parents have formed like a group, and then they go, one parent goes to check on all the children, because every time they go as a group, the schools find ways of getting monies from them, you know, and they feel that this has gotten way out of hand. I mean, of course, you know, the schools that have been called would respond. So they said Queen's College chairman reacts. He's trying to douse the tension among the PTA. He says the parents that, first of all, he apologized for responding a bit late. He said 24 hours later than, you know, when this had come out. And then he says that they would take the stories that have been, you know, put out there, and they'll look into it. And you know, he made excuses for his tight schedule and whatever for not responding. Okay. But for me, I just feel these stories, we've heard little, you know, we keep hearing every year like little short stories, you know, but this one seems very serious for them to go all the way to petition, you know, and go all the way to the Ministry of Education. It will be, these were schools that we used to look at as the, you know, beacon of everything education. So it's important that this is sorted out quickly and in the open, you know, so that we know how that goes.
The APC, if you recall, the president just returned from France. So while he was there, the chairman, the national chairman of the APC, that's Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, has hinted that the ruling party is working closely with the National Assembly to initiate and ensure diaspora voting during the next elections. According to him, he was speaking at the executive committee for the France chapter of the party in Paris. And he took time to explain that the president's reforms may seem painful at this time. However, they are necessary for economic growth and turnaround. He also hinted on the fact that they are working tirelessly to ensure Nigerians in diaspora are able to vote in the coming elections. That's interesting news for those Nigerians, because they desperately really want to participate in our democracy and see how they can be part of selecting the leadership in Nigeria. So I think it would be a great idea for this to be pulled through completely and totally. Any other story in Vanguard?
No.
Okay, The Guardian, our final paper. Manufacturers grown as alternative energy gulps 1.1 trillion naira in 1 year. Tributes for man of humility, Pope for the poor, as Vatican awaits new leader. Anybody took any story in The Guardian?
So I took the manufacturer one.
Okay.
The aspect I took is where they were talking about unsold inventory. Okay. That surged from 87.5% to 2.14 trillion. Now, because of the purchasing power that is reducing by Nigerians, many manufacturers are not able to sell off their products. And they mentioned some industries that are not able to sell off their products. And it's surging quarter by quarter because they're not able to sell at all. So this is more like just giving data on why they are not able to sell. The food, beverage and tobacco, textile, apparel and footwear sectors, they said they faced the most significant increase in unsold stock according to this particular report, and is affecting the manufacturing industry. They also talked about forex volatility. They talked about lack of electricity, and all those issues are also making it very impossible for them to be able to sell their products. So they're just looking at the government to see what they can do to make it easy for Nigerians to be able to purchase some of these products so that the manufacturers will not be out of business.
Okay, finally, there's a story I saw in Guardian that was interesting. So Segun Shomi, who works with the PDP, is a chieftain of the PDP, that's the People's Democratic Party, has urged Peter Obi to return to the PDP ahead of the 2027 presidential elections to brighten his chances. According to him, the Labour Party, Peter Obi had left during the 2023 elections. So while there was an interview with Sheung Akimbaloyi of on his mic on podcast show, he was advising that Peter Obi needs a bigger platform going forward. Looking ahead to 2027, the PDP of Nigeria would open its processes and announce when the forms are available, and anyone who feels confident enough to be president should come forward. And he's encouraging Peter Obi, he would like him to return to the PDP and make a strong case for the presidential ticket. I believe he should come back to the party. This party was originally conceived in the bedroom of the late Alex Ekweme, so I don't understand why the Igbo, along with southern leaders and other influential figures within the PDP, can't come together and say, all right, we recognize it here and the ticket, and we give it to Peter Obi. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, wishing everybody the best on that. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Stay good. Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Get ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before. Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration. From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza, to the richness of our culture, to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Events Diary is your VIP pass to the hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it, you'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
Brand new studio, brand new set, a new face, but still your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
It's a fresh new energy, new vibe. You smell that?
Now that's the smell of tasty, tantalizing food from our various chefs.
And when it comes to sports updates with insightful analysis, the place you want to be is Wake Up Nigeria.
That's right. Every second there's a fresh occurrence, and every minute there's a story to tell. Keep abreast of happening locally and internationally via the news updates of Wake Up Nigeria.
It's light, camera, fashion, where we strut, slay, and sashay, and keep you updated with all the latest fashion trends.
Level up your morning.
Watch Wake Up Nigeria, where every morning begins with a spark. Hey, my people, I greet you plenty. My name is Nachika Okeke. My name is Uwi Balogun.
My name is Damilola Banire.
My name is Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen. And this na Abigail. And I dare on top your view pigeon. I'm going to bring you Bas, boss. I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say now my husband be this.
Now waiting you want.
After that day, the man
you go see him again.
If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When they find the husband, you not see sign say the guys, you don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person we go give them to you, fact as it be.
Men no they ever get forced. If baby not there for her,
now
the woman.
Talk no they be person, you make person no fit talk through inside. But for this country, we not say if we open court in the morning, waiting no good, no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanda gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
But look, we not even take responsibility for the children. Please the man.
And that's some poria.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
Thanks for staying with us. So recently, the management of the University of Ibadan, through the Director of Health Service, Dr. Aderonke Ajayi, strongly condemned actually the rising number of female students participating in egg donation to generate income. The institution stated that while egg donation had offered hope to families facing infertility challenges, it should not be regarded as a steady source of income or a side hustle. Ajayi expressed concern that female students were being recruited and participating as egg donors for in vitro fertilization, often facilitated by individuals, agents, or agencies that come around to the school. Now, when I read this report was sent in by, I think I was trying to find the organization that actually posted this, because I tried to look for it elsewhere. I didn't see it, but it was the organization, the Diaspora article that published it, and I'll get that article in a moment so that we know the source of this story. But if this is true, this is obviously a source of concern, or a cause for concern for many families and guardians. But you can join the conversation 020-163 520130902416340. You can also send us messages on X and on YouTube. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts. Who would like to go first on this? BC, what are your thoughts on this? If this is indeed true.
Yeah, it's true. If it's indeed true, it's very true. So I heard it a few months back when I had a young girl who was working in capacity of a personal assistant, and I was just getting to know her and asking questions about how she had survived because of her story. And one of the things she told me was that at some point she had to start selling her eggs to be able to pay her bills. And I said, who came to you? I say in school, that there is a conversation that they have in school. They just tell you, do you want to donate? That many people do it for several reasons, to be able to afford certain things. Some for survival, some for just aesthetics. Maybe you want to sell it because you want to buy clothes. You want to look a certain way. You want to buy wigs. You want to, and it was shocking to me. And I asked, I said, how many have you sold? I said she had done it like 4 times. That the last time she went there, they asked her not to come back again. Then they explained to her that every woman has an amount of eggs that she would release in her lifetime. It's different for different people. That if you exhaust yours, you can never have a child anymore. So that she has done enough, she should not come back there again. That was the first time I was shaking when I finished that conversation. And a few weeks ago, I saw on social media again, somebody came out, this happened in Delta State, I think around Warri or so, was shouting that this is what these girls are doing now. People should talk to their wards, talk to your children, that is all they are doing now, selling their eggs just to be able to buy things, not even meaningful things, just to look a certain way, to appear a certain way, yes. You know, that public perception, social media, have to pepper somebody, and they are selling their eggs just for this. It was really scary, and I'm happy that they have spotlighted this for us to even have a conversation. Women... is it women now, young girls? How do I even begin to qualify them? Yes. Should understand that this is not something you just give out for material things. It's a gift that God has given to you. If you want to help somebody who wants to have a child, that's a different thing. But it should not be your only means of survival. What happens to working with your hands? What happens to working with your brain? When I was in the university, there was a particular girl, I would never forget her. She was training herself in school and taking care of her siblings back home and her aged parents. She would make hair. She was so good at doing Ghana weaving. Like, we will queue up for weeks. You go and write your name. If you want to make Ghana weaving in 3 weeks, better write your name now because there's no slots. People will write names. She was sending money home. She could work. They had people who were selling clothes. They would come to Tejo show here, buy those okrika, go back to the university and sell. People were doing different types of hustling to be able to, you know, take care of themselves. Do you have to resort to selling body parts? Because as far as I'm concerned, this is a body part you're selling. You're like hacking yourself, or I don't know. Let me come to
Makarios. You're totally correct, because I remember a friend of mine that, you know, I was also trying to help. With my mom would say she trained so many people without realizing she trained so many of my friends in school. I was trying to help her, so she said she was doing okay clothes in school. So I went out, packed all my clothes, so many of my clothes, and gave her to sell. She said, Maka, let's do this business. I'll give you small profit. Tomorrow I know see money. But I'm just happy that she used it. She chopped me. She see me as Mugu, but she still found something. So you're totally correct. But unfortunately, legally, this sector is not regulated. We had this conversation last week with the professional that we brought in. Lawyer, with the lawyer. So it's unfortunate and that this is happening. And somehow, nature has always made it more difficult for women. You know, because a man will go and sell his sperm every day. He will just be bringing out the thing like this and selling, and there's no repercussion. It will not finish. It will not finish. But for women, we have a number. We have a number, and we are nurturers and everything. Like PC said, for you to give out your egg, it has to be meaningful. There must be a purpose towards it, not just for hair, for iPhone. And it's so worrisome because it still keeps restating what I always say. What are value system now in 2025? In this generation, like as in, what do we stand for as people? As in, is it that as in, I don't want to blame the parents, because I'm sure that parents are still giving home training. So is it that when they give you the home training, when you get to school, you throw it away? Like what? Even during our own days, when we go to school and we used to do 1 or 2 things, they still caution that my parents, so my family, they still fear, I will not do this one. But now it's as if like anybody's just doing anyhow. If it's not drugs, it's selling eggs, it's ridiculous. Right? All these stories, it just sounds...
Okay, let me hear your thoughts, your initial thoughts on this.
You know, before I start, I know sometimes when we hear these stories, we just think that there's just a large number of young Nigerians acting this way. But you know, I've been to a few places recently, and there's so many young Nigerians doing right, doing good. So sometimes this is just highlighting a problem. It's not like a widespread thing. But having said that, it's still a very serious issue that we're discussing. And you know, for me, I just wanted to understand this egg donation. It just does not even make sense for me. The process in which to even go through it, you would have to, it takes a while. So it's not like a sperm donation where you go in, you can decide one morning, wake up, let me just go and, you know, they have to be sort of looked at, they're examined, and they're given injections and things like that. So it takes a while for you to go through that. And it has some emotional effect on you, you know, so it takes a lot. And I've heard that when they do this, they get things like 80,000 naira, 150,000 naira per cycle. Does not make sense to me. And per cycle, when they harvest your eggs, they're harvesting between 10 to 20 eggs. So the person that you highlighted who has done it 4 times, let's say they did a maximum of 20. 4 times.
At each harvest.
Yes. So I just need, the students to understand what it is that they're doing. You're right also, women were born with the number of eggs that we'll have in our lifetime. So you're not going to have more eggs as you grow older. That's it, So when you do that, they're just the implications is just a lot. It's not that you cannot do it, but when you're doing it, make sure. So I'm talking of those who are doing it to help, in fertility, but you have to make sure you're doing it in a situation where your health is being prioritized. They have to prioritize your health. That it's not something that they're asking you to come over and over and over. It cannot be just for the money. You cannot just go there and go in several times just for the money. In fact, these clinics, if they see you come so many times, if they're honest clinics and they're just trying to do this, they will not ask you to keep coming. So first of all, you just know that you're dealing with people that don't care about you, but just the money that they can make from you. And they make so much more from you, and what you're giving is just, you're giving them your life, actually. You're giving your ancestry, you're giving your future generation, and then they give you 80,000 to 150. Also, we have heard of stories that after they have done this, and they leave you with whatever health implications you have. Remember a father who had come online and, his daughters were in school and they realized one was really ill and they didn't understand. She just had this stomach ache, and then they found out that she had actually donated her egg, and it was done in such a way that it did not care for her health. So we need to think about this selfishly. Let's just say we're in a world where everybody's selfish. So think about yourself. Be selfish about yourself. Your health is important. Without health, there's nothing else. You're going to school, and if you go to school, learn what you're supposed to learn, get that degree, and then you're now supposed to set out into the world to start achieving other things. But you've lost it because maybe your health is gone, your eggs have been badly harvested in such a way that you're affected for the rest of your life. So it is a serious thing. You just don't do it walking carelessly with anyone.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
I am Moriah Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call permanent solutions.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crimes of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless.
I'm
Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting, as the arts are meant to be.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter. I'd like us to touch on the part of regulation, because I think Amaka alluded to the fact that this entire industry, assisted fertility, assisted conception, is not regulated. So the lawyer had said something last time when he came here, saying that they need regulations such that once you donate your eggs the first time, it's in a database that everybody has access to, that you cannot go into a different hospital, different place to do the same thing, because there should be a maximum number of time for you to do that. So definitely we need regulations. Obviously, these are new things. It's a new practice that is coming to our own part of the world, and many young people are taking advantage. But my worry is, you know, when HIV came, there are some people that died because they didn't understand it. So there'll be that phase where we're still trying to understand what's going on, because lots of young people are taking advantage of this opportunity, not realizing the detriment to their health going forward, and the fact that it might affect them in conception in the future. So in your own view, how do you think that, do you think this phase, this phase is new to what is causing this rush? But eventually, hopefully with more awareness, more of us talking about it, people can see that there's nothing wrong in you, because these are adult decisions. These kids are 18 at least. Many of them are 18. They are making adult decisions, like, I have decided to give my egg. You can't stop me. If I can vote, I can make a decision on my body. So the best we can really do to this case is advice and let the information be provided. However, do you think the parents should be the ones to be blamed on this, or is it a natural cycle of things that happen when we have a new innovation like this coming up? Is this something that we should expect and just walk around it? Because there's something you can really do. These kids they're going to give out their eggs. They will give out their eggs.
So what has happened? So for me, what I'm seeing here is that the companies or firms or clinics that are harvesting these eggs, and they are the ones rushing because they realize that there's no regulation. So let us rush in this time before government catches up to us and starts regulating us. Let us see how many we can get and make so much money. That's it. So it's not the kids rushing. The kids are just looking at, okay, there's another, or these young women, there's another avenue to sort of make money. The problem is at the clinics. The clinics is not new to them. They know about these things. They know how it's done in other countries. They are probably being used by those in even developed countries where they have really stringent regulations, you know, and you hear stories of where they rely on clinics like this in the third world, in the developing countries, to, you know, ship eggs, because there are no regulations per se. Do you understand? Yeah. And then they are able to make money. So for us, it's just that government has to be on its toes all the time. You cannot just wait and be thinking about, they've rushed us, we were not aware. You have to be aware. We have institutions already for this sort of things. We already have parents, long before this particular one that we're talking about. There have been stories that have been coming out long before now. So what has taken the time? Why is it taking so long to have any form of proper regulation in the industry?
But again, are these adult decisions then?
Yeah, so I disagree with you on that. We don't operate adulty that way. In this part of the world, for you to be an adult, you don't cross like 26. Because we have children who are 18, 19, 20. They stay with us till they are, you know.
At my husband's house.
Exactly, till they're from your father's house, your house. Though things are changing now. And I see a lot of young people who are left on their own, who are left to find their way. Left to have their life. So we have many people who would live maybe like the village or a city, a different city, and come to Lagos. They rent their houses by themselves. They are struggling by themselves, trying to make ends meet before they finally meet a man to marry or not. They are there by themselves. So many of these young people do not have guidance. There was a time I mentioned, I said, when we were growing up, I did a lot of volunteer work when I was waiting to get into the university. So for me to leave the house to go to either the classroom to teach or something, my father would give me transport fare. My father would give me lunch money. I would go and come back, and they will see the way I went is the way I would come back home and all of that. There was a sort of guidance. But now I have young people working with me who, they are living with their parents, quite all right. But their parents don't know how they are fending for themselves. They're leaving the house for whatever they want to go and do out there. Their parents don't know where they're going to. Their parents do not give them transport fare. Some don't even care about their well-being. So they fend for themselves. They work hard by themselves. They make the money to take care of themselves. And they're living in a house with a proper structure. And you're wondering, so what's the role of the father and mother in this house? That's one. Then there are some young people who, they don't even have that kind of mother and father that has a structure. Maybe they are the ones that came from maybe the villages. The parents hustle to find them, train them in school and all of that. They come into the city, they are left by themselves. They meet people who are saying, okay, this is what we can do to make money. That is what we can do to make money. And they are finding their ways, just surviving life. That happened to one of the persons.
I want to stay on what you just said, because for me, that is life.
Yeah.
Life happens to people.
Yeah.
People make mistakes.
Yeah.
Their life is in phase, because we always talk about how we want our children to be more independent.
Yeah.
They will make their mistakes. There will be people who will sell off their eggs over the years, and then in the next 15 years, they are licking the wounds of that decision.
Yeah.
But that is life. As an adult at 18, you've made a decision. So I'm saying that you can't stop anybody from selling their eggs.
We can't.
What I'm saying is that these adults have made a decision to sell their eggs, but you are telling me that in our own context.
Yes, they are not adults as far as I'm concerned. If my child is 18,
but how do we then preach independence to our children at that age?
We can be independent in so many ways. And one of the ways as a parent to teach independence is that, my child, whether I'm there or not, you should be able to stand on your own 2 feet and hustle the right way. Use your hands. The work of your hands is what God is going to bless, not the ovary that you sell or the body part that you choose to sell. Yeah. If you choose to do that, you must do it for a greater good. You may have spotted a family that you want to help. All the people that sell it abroad, they're not selling it to be able to eat. That's you hacking yourself to be able to survive today. Then when you are done with the survival, tomorrow you put yourself in another problem where you're trying something else to survive that particular problem you put yourself. So the first thing is, let us educate our young people in a way that they have respect for their bodies. That's 1. 2, let us play the role we can play as their parents for as long as we can. Yes, I see a lot of lackadaisical attitude with parents who just, at 40, you are resigning, you say you want to do ministry. There's no money coming from the ministry. You don't care how your children are fending. You say that God called you. Down at home, your hands and legs are working. I've seen many of these. What's mommy doing? Ministry. What's daddy doing? Ministry. How are the children fending? Nobody cares. Sort yourself. Let us change that. As a parent, till your child gets to a certain level where they become an adult, they are working, then you can hands off. As long as you're still alive, you should do what you can to protect your children. So when those children go into the universities, they mix up with people that are coming from houses like our own. And then you start having conversations. One day they'll go and whisper to your daughter, do you know I do this to make money? We have to start holding parents accountable on how they are releasing these young girls so early without any form of support.
Okay, let me take this call. I'll come to you, Amaka. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Oge. I'm calling from
I can't hear you, Oge.
Okay, can you hear me?
Maybe our producers can hear you. I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Our viewers might be able to hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to make a little contribution because people selling their eggs is actually very not advisable. And it's also very dangerous because when you look at the cultural and the traditional aspects of it, you might sell your eggs to someone. In the future, you have a child, and your child will get married to the person, or to the child, or the daughter, or the son of the person you sold your eggs to. It means that 2 siblings are getting married to themselves.
Yeah.
So it looks like a taboo, and it's not really advisable. If you must sell your eggs, you need to know where that person is coming from.
Yeah.
To be sure that there must be no collection in the future. So that's just my contribution.
Thank you, Gechi. So that's a regulation issue. That's where regulation comes to ensure that we don't have children walking around the place marrying each other. Let me come to Amaka.
So like I'm going to answer like when you talked about like the HIV, like something being a scourge now, and then I'm going to answer her on parenting. So for the scourge, for example, like what she said, it's about creating regulations where there's a database on you can do your family history, and if they want to also get your real family history to know the kind of egg that they even want to take, if the hospitals are even responsible, then they will not have to, somehow your parents or family member will get involved, be able to also sign a consent so that they can really get your family tree, if it's being regulated, right? And then secondly, you can have access to the data to be able to trace the families that take your eggs, right? So that even though you're not going to claim, there are regulations that also guide against you claiming those children, but then you're able to have like a data to like know, track, you know, and know what's going on with that. And then secondly, the problem we're having is lack of awareness and lack of information, okay? And that comes to you because even our parents, they brought us up with, they taught us the Bible and everything, and we went to school and we still did some one or two things. Those that smoke, those that drank, those that did the things that they said do not have sex before marriage. So many things happened, right? That was not supposed to happen. That did not mean that our parents failed. And so in situations like this, children mix up and things happen and life happen, and and you have people coming to talk to them in schools like, okay, try this, don't try this. Like I had a staff that was working with me that came and met me and told me that someone told her that they want to take her abroad. And I said, the person wants to take you abroad. Why abroad not a hungry person? The person don't get brother, sister, cousins, family people that they want to take abroad. And I said, do you know about trafficking, sex trafficking and a whole lot of things? Someone just met you and everything and she was so excited. I said, no. As in, you don't just jump into things. And this is something that happens when someone says, oh, I have an issue, and so they say, well, come and do it. We're all doing it or whatever. But if there's an awareness where you know that if I do this, it will cost me A, B, C, D. These are the consequences.
We need to talk about it more.
And you know, because kids, teenagers, they're rebellious when it comes to their parents. Like if their parents say don't do this, that's when they want to do that. That's when they want to do that thing. So listen to their peers and information. So if they can really get information from other people that are not really their parents, then they will now know the consequences of their actions.
Whether we like it or not, these things will happen. But go ahead.
So that's I was going to say as well, that it's really about education and making them aware of what the things that are happening outside the world is. So you know, children, they all come from different homes. There are some children that are so sheltered that the very first time that they actually go out into the world is when they go to university. And the world is so new to them, they are meeting different people. And usually at that time, especially when you're young, you're enticed by your peers. It's what they are doing, how they are doing it. You want to also feel among that. Is that age that you want to be part of a group and things like that, you know? So it's about education. And Oyibo people, I would say that they have tried, they've done this, you know, over the years, where the children are allowed more freedom and independence, you know, as they're growing. The African way of raising children is you protect them so much, you know, and then one day you now throw them into the world, and then you say, where's your husband? The person that you have been telling for how many years? I don't want to see any boy around you. The next thing is like, where's your husband? So you find that. So the thing is, we're in a new world. With African parenting, we need to start preparing the children for a life of independence, of going out, to be firm, to be, you know, to have conviction is what is how they have been raised, to understand that whatever is happening in the world is just distractions. Hoping also and making sure that they will be able to speak to you, make sure that the home is a safe place, that they know that they can come to speak with you. You know, there are just too many distractions happening. While we were growing up, there were things that were happening. What was happening during our time was, they used to call them aristo. That was what was going on. Young girls used to go out.
Many girls fell victim.
Yes, many girls fell victim. It wasn't just only girls that knew that their eyes were open, but also girls that fell into it because they thought it was the thing to do. I had a friend who told me that
need the money.
She said to me, do you know I was smoking and having sex because I thought that when you get to a certain age, that's what you are meant to do. Said nobody sat with her, no adult sat with her. She just felt that you do it, but don't let people know that you're doing it. It was years later she now realized, oh, I'm actually being abused, you know. So we don't take for granted that your children know everything. Please, let's sit down with them and have these conversations with them. Our children will go out, they'll make decisions, they will make mistakes. but hopefully they don't make life-damaging mistakes that they cannot.
Maybe on the very short, we'll come back and wrap up on this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view.
Stories, business news, stock exchange, and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates, and trending stories on the go right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy, and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
MoneyPoint app or find an agent near you to get started.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly.
Thank you for staying with us. We're going to be wrapping up on this conversation. Hopefully our callers can call in to share their own views on this. I was going to give an example. I think going to what BC has said earlier, how we like to shield our children. And I get that because I fell into that, and I think I've shared this before in the past, where when I was in the US, I won $100,000 for my accident. I paid my lawyer, I think whatever percentage. After all the payments of all the deals, I had $40,000 to myself. Me, myself, and I.
It's time she tells me that story.
Me, myself, and I.
I have
and then,
high blood pressure.
because my brothers saw me as an adult, because they are Americanized, so they saw me, let me make decisions, you know, so they left me with $40,000. And now, if I was living in Nigeria,
your mother would have collected them.
What? They would have collected the money,
kept it somewhere,
guided me, and tell me what to do. But they left me because they didn't want to pry. They just felt that she's doing her thing. Let's not act as if we want her money. Let her just. And unfortunately, I didn't spend it. I gave it to some clown called Mr. Keith something, and he was supposed to invest it for me and
blew the money.
By the time I called him back, it was just $2,000 left.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
So I get the part of the guidance, where our own culture, the peculiarity of our culture, so that we guide you till you get to that next phase.
Yeah. But, and I don't think it's wrong the way we I know everybody is looking for, let them be independent, let them be independent.
But we also preach it.
Yeah, we do, but to a certain extent because of our culture. I don't think it's wrong, because if you study neuroscience, you realize that the brain actually finishes development at the age of 28.
Yeah.
Wow.
So many of the decisions we think young adults are taking, their brain is still undergoing development. And that's why you see people over there where they allow that independence. You just wake up today, I want to be a cat. So, meow. You ask me my name, I do meow. I come on this show now, I do meow. When Mariah say, give your point, I do meow. I want to be a cat. Another person wakes up tomorrow, goes to do surgery to change into a dog. So much independence. With independence comes responsibility. And that's why we're saying that to a level, we must guide our young people. We now step back. We're not authoritative anymore. You now step back. But I like where we went with this conversation, where information has to be key. We have to keep giving the information. The media is talking about it. Parents are talking about it. Parents forum are talking about it. Men are talking about it. Women are talking about it. So that everybody knows the consequences. So that today you want to give your egg. Tomorrow you know that there could be consequences and you will face it by yourself. So let's not just be in a hurry to push. I'm raising children, though. I'm happy the way they guided me to a certain extent. In fact, it was the guidance that my mother gave me that even made me marry at the time I was married, because I was being foolish. And she said, come here. You're not going anywhere. Stay in that house. She's not going anywhere, okay? Okay, I want to kuku marry her there. It was just her strategic, I cannot allow my daughter be this foolish. That saved me. So we cannot allow our children, because we are raising them to be independent, and we allow you to take your decisions, allow you to. There are some things that we stand. There are some things that we stand as a mother and say, on this one, no, this is my way. Let's do it a bit.
Let me take this call from Bola.
You leave my house.
Holding. Good morning, Bola Tito. You're live. Good morning, Bola Tito.
Hello.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So I'm a. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I'm a biology student, and I study these things like egg donation. In women's lifetime, we have 5,000 eggs, and that those 5,000 eggs, it goes through ovulation. That's where we have our menstruation. When the egg is matured, it breaks down. That's where we have our menstruation. So no hospital is supposed to allow their. Sorry, you're making.
I wanted to hear that analogy from biology.
Okay, so what I wanted to say, like, because this is not a regulated sector, right? And Nigeria, most times, it's not really where they even give you information in terms of, let's say you go to the hospital and they want to do something abroad. They want to apply, before they apply anything on your body, or they'll tell you what this is, what will happen. Yeah, unless you just shout, they're saying you don't even know. Nobody even told you what they put.
And if you ask, they'll be angry.
If you ask, they'll be angry that you even asked. So with these children now, we don't even know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know whether the way they harvest them eggs, whether they can also harvest any other thing from that part of your body.
They can.
Do you understand? Because you don't even know whether it's just the eggs now that some of these hospitals are taking. That you wake up one day in future, you now realize that other things you are taking from your body.
Missing.
Do you understand?
Like
missing things.
Like these clinics, do we know them? Do we know where they are situated? Do we know if they are licensed? Do we know if they are licensed practitioners in those places? So that's the regulation we're talking about. All that has to be sorted out so that we even know that these girls are going to a place where it's being properly handled. But as we have heard of stories of girls who are left dealing with all sorts of health issues because of the way it was done, they're allowed to just take care of themselves, So that's the regulation issue. But let's go back to the parenting. For me, I find that interesting. The way we used to do it, or the way we've always done it, which is we shelter our children until they leave. It worked for a very long time, and I don't think that we should totally throw it away. In fact, I feel like we've even kind of found a balance. But it worked a long time ago because your child would school around the, in the vicinity. But now we have our children, either they leave the state or they leave the country. you don't want to leave. You don't want a child who has no clue about how to get into a car, a bus, a taxi, doesn't know how to open a bank account, doesn't know how to pay for rent, doesn't know how to read contract for rent. You don't want that sort of child to go off into the world, in today's world, especially. So that is why, you know, we're saying that African parenting needs to be aware of the realities on ground today. You want your child to go and be a high flyer somewhere, they'll have to start dealing with that first, you know. But talking of the balance that I see, you know, the private universities, like for those of us that went to regular government universities, we were left on our own. But with private universities, they have someone at the gate that takes your name. Yes, they tell you what you should wear and what you can't wear, you know. So for me, that's a balance. So yes, we have let you go, but to some extent, we're still able to guide you. That's why you find some parents insist, and my child must go to a religion-based school because there are some values that must continue to follow them. Even if I'm not there, make sure that it's following them, that they remember, you know. So it's good that we do that, but sometimes we're unable to give them that protection. So we have to get them ready for today's world.
We have to wrap up on this, but I think, I mean, as I said before, in every life cycle, there's always one thing that happens. When we're growing up was how to have safe sex or not have to abstain from sex because of HIV, AIDS and stuff. And kids then were getting infected, some died. Now the in thing is donating your eggs. You have to be careful. Those organ harvesting.
Do you remember? Let me just interrupt you. Do you remember when they used to say that girls used to sleep with allergies, and then the allergies would turn into snakes?
Yes,
we have that. I feel that those snake stories were just stories by the elders. They thought, let us scare these small children that don't have head.
You know? And there was the Aristo season. So these things come in phases. The best we can do is awareness. Let our young people, our children, talk about it, discuss it, just like the women's groups, church groups. We must remind them of the dangers of these things. Unfortunately, some would have donated their 5,000 eggs. Some would have because of the...
That means it's their destiny, no?
Because there always be those foreigners. They're giving out, you can have it, say, come on. They are those ones that first of all go. But now that there's more awareness, information, hopefully the new ones will not give out too much. They will know that, okay, I can't do more than 100 eggs per time, whatever it is.
There you go.
It is that.
Now, egg will count.
We must be careful how we raise our children and ensure that they are more independent. As Mariam said, if they're going to go into the world, they need to be better equipped than we were back in the day. So that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, move to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one better.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeke, close the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, number one, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number one on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym to get fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy
has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they're for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I will not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person that used to sus? What is his name?
That woman.
Damn!
Yeah,
Today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. Entertainment for pure entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Get ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before. Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration. From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza, to the richness of our culture, to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Events Diary is your VIP pass to the hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it. You'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
Brand new studio, brand new set, a new face, but still your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
It's a fresh new energy, new vibe. You smell that?
Now that's the smell of tasty, tantalizing food from our various chefs.
And when it comes to sports updates with insightful analysis, the place you want to be is Wake Up Nigeria.
That's right. Every second there's a fresh occurrence, and every minute there's a story to tell. Keep abreast of happening locally and internationally via the news updates of Wake Up Nigeria.
It's light camera fashion, where we strut, slay, and sashay, and keep you updated with all the latest fashion trends.
Level up your morning.
Watch Wake Up Nigeria, where every morning begins with a spark.
Hey, my people, I greet you plenty.
My name is Nachika Okeke.
My name is Uwi Balogun.
My name is Damilola Balogun.
Thanks for staying with us. So last Saturday, tragedy occurred in what was meant to be a joyous occasion as a Lagos-based hotelier Otumba Kunle Akinyele suddenly slumped and died during his wife's 60th birthday party Thanksgiving. The devastating video has since gone viral across social media platforms. We cannot independently ascertain exactly what could have led to the death of Otumba Akinyele, but on this segment today, we'll be talking about and examining the issues, the medical factors that can make a man or woman fall suddenly and die. In Nigeria, we just say he slumped and died. Later on in the conversation, we'll have a cardiologist join us to give us the reasons and what could cause this fact that people just slump and die. But before the cardiologist is brought on, there's been lots of cases recently, and it's important we talk about it. I mean, I know quite a number of young people, not even old people. Back then, high blood pressure was something that old people have. Now, lots of young people, I know at least 3 people. There was a young lady that recently passed on. She slumped and died. My brother's former partner They used to do for many years. She's a popular person. She also passed on. We went to a funeral, I think earlier this year or late last year. Also recently, the gospel singer Bolaji and Big Ben, Big B, we call him Big Bolaji. I still saw him a month ago, I think. He was attending another person's funeral, another family friend who also had some medical challenges. She didn't slump, she had medical challenges and she passed on. He was there to perform, and I was there and I saw him. My husband saw him, everybody was there. We saw him. This was about a month ago, you know. And then hearing that he had his 50th birthday last year. And so he slumped also. So there were quite a number of them, and it's just quite disturbing to see that a lot of young people are dying because of this slumping.
Yeah, so I think we need to create more awareness in terms of people monitoring their health. Many of us are always in a hurry, we're always busy, we don't have time to really pay attention to our health. You just assume that because you're looking a certain way that you're healthy. You may have signs of prolonged, maybe headaches, or there's always, your body always gives you a sign, and you just feel like, a little paracetamol will do, and I'll be fine. Let me get about my duties, and then you forget about it. But I think we need to regularize, or we need to make it important to us, or prioritize, that's the word. We need to prioritize regular checks, regular going to the hospital to do overall checks from time to time. If you can do it every 3 months, you can do it every 6 months, depending on the nature of your work. A lot of people are working so hard, right? They may not be physically active, but they are doing a lot of brain work. Mentally, they are working. So, but you assume because I'm not jumping from bus to bus, I'm not doing, why do I need to be? I'm not stressed. And you don't know that you're really, really stressed. A lot of people that should be on BP daily drugs do not know that they should be on BP daily drugs. Majority of Nigerians are hypertensive. And it's so unfortunate now that even young children, young people, can be hypertensive and they are not aware. But with regular checks, you can easily tell that, okay, there's something I need to pay attention to. Maybe there's like a diet change I need to do. I need to do incorporate a little bit of exercise to what I am doing. I need to, do certain things. I need to clear out all those clusters that we have. A typical Nigerian is a hustler, right? And because of the nature of our economy, one thing cannot really sustain you. So you see that many people, even whether they're shouting it or not, are putting hands into several things that take away their peace. So we need to find, imagine. And we need to find ways to calm down a bit in terms of properly checking our health.
See, let me tell you the reality. The reality, when you say regular checks, in the Nigerian context, maybe once a year. Many of us do once a year, where on our birthdays, we have a full checkup. After that, that's the next year.
Actually, you're a small percentage.
Yeah.
Sometimes someone like me now, it's once a year. On my birthday, I go to do that checkup. And then the other time this year, I was having serious headaches. I was feeling dizzy. And I just felt, I'm going to rest. I didn't go to the hospital. It's not the Nigerian thing of me to just say, I start looking for one doctor and start saying, come pay 10,000 naira for a consultation fee. I'm not going to do it. Wow. I just went home to rest, to sleep. Wow. And then a few days later, I felt better. Sometimes, you right now, I'm talking to you, I have this one pain that will become this.
Please go and check it out. Don't go and sleep, Mariah.
The point is, the Nigerian conversation is that many of us have one issue that we just kind of manage, we'd rather just not know.
Okay, so now, today that we're having this conversation is the day that we'll tell Nigerians, you must know. You must take the time and budget your money, no matter how small it is, towards checking your health regularly. A few days ago, someone posted that they did they were checking people's blood pressure. He was in shock. It was like he cannot believe the number of people that had serious high blood pressure. He called the numbers. He says this was not in an emergency, not an ER. This was not a medical outreach. This was just randomly, let's just check people and see. He says, and they are living. He says, usually, these sort of numbers, that when you get them, they're supposed to be lying down somewhere in the hospital bed. But these people are coming and going. Nigerians, there's a lifestyle that we have imbibed, and it is detrimental to our health. But what is even worse is that we don't think that we should take the time to look at it. So recently, some things have happened to me, and I've had to pay attention to, things like that. And the doctor was saying, especially that there is a situation that they've noticed in Lagos, especially randomly, they're taking tests, and they realize that there's a large number of Nigerians that have blood clots. So that's another thing that affects people, and then they slump and die. You have a blood clot that blocked your heart and your arteries, and it does not matter the age. It's from young people in their 30s to much older people, and they are seeing a lot of that. In fact, that they've gone abroad to, and they're compared numbers, and the one in Lagos is quite high. It's something that they're looking at. So that is one thing. The second thing is that now that we have this information, just take the time. Yeah. Take the time. And then there's this stubbornness, especially with men, I feel. Men can be quite stubborn about, they feel like I'm chasing some things. I don't have the time to do that. They need to put it on your phone as an alarm. All these health insurance that come and sell you health insurance. Find some apps that you sell to Nigerians, specifically for Nigerians, that reminds them to go for health checks.
Sound the alarm.
Yes, sound the alarm or something. Or maybe send a letter to their office. I say, this Oga cannot enter this office today until he goes to the hospital to get it.
I'm told that our consultant cardiologist is on now. He has to go and meet other patients, so we have to just still in for a few minutes to shed some light on this. We have Dr. Olusegun Joseph. Welcome to the show, sir. Hello, good morning, sir. Are you there? Okay, while we're trying to get in together, Maka, go ahead.
Yes, so I wanted to say, I don't really agree with you 100% in saying that, Nigeria, that we don't do a health check and everything. I think it's just, as in different families come up with the different plans or how they want their homes to work, in the sense that different families in Nigeria plan for summer. They don't joke with summer. Where every summer, every summer they want to take, every summer they want to take their kids abroad and stuff. I grew up in a home where every 3 months, every holiday, we must go for all body checkup. And that's how all of us in our family, we are. Every 3 months, you must... 0.01%. I'm coming. And that depends on your priority as a family. Most family, their plan every year, they'll plan for the next year holiday. They already know where they want to go 2027. Why will you not prioritize the health of your kids and raising your kids to know that they have to check their health? Do you understand? So for me, in that aspect, I see it as what people are prioritizing over other things. And when it comes to the blood clot thing, so it can happen to anybody at any time. So people, there should be information about what happens when you notice that someone has a blood clot or something is happening. Because there are certain things that you can do immediately that can help blood flow immediately before they take the person to the hospital.
You must have gone to the hospital to know.
No, you don't have to go to the hospital. It's about...
I don't know you have a blood clot.
No, something can happen. Like if someone has like slumps or something around you.
Like if there's a symptom.
Yes, as in a response thing. So people should, as I said, awareness. People should be able to CPR to know what to do immediately to be able to save that person. And then lastly, BC, certain people don't even realize that they have certain heart conditions or whatever, that they shouldn't even take high blood pressure medications. That when they take that, it counters it and makes them slump and die.
So hopefully our doctor can join, because we're trying to connect with him on Zoom, so he can answer some of these questions. Because the point I was trying to make was that the conversation in this country is that the truth that we don't have HMOs it's readily available in other parts of the world. Although Lagos State has tried to get the Lagosians to have the Lagos State HMO, which so that it becomes second nature for you to, once you have a small headache, you can go to the hospital. Right now, you refrain yourself from going to the hospital because you're thinking of the cost. I know that if I go and see the doctor at a certain hospital I go to, minimum 30K first to say hello to the doctor is 30K. I have to think about
your
that.
Your health is important because if you want to buy, shoes, if you want to buy clothes, thank you. You don't look at it as 30K is too much. If I want to tell you the outfit is 30K, it's too cheap.
I think she means that in a country where your minimum wage is 70,000 naira and consultation fees.
We're talking about people who. We're talking about Nigeria. Yes, I know. So Mariah, hold on. We like to self-medicate. Yes, that's a major problem. I had a conversation with my dad yesterday, and he wasn't feeling good. And I saw, go to the hospital. There's a hospital opposite you. There's a hospital behind you. He said, no. The last time the wife went there, the wife died. My father suddenly developed phobia for hospital. I started begging him yesterday, please, Daddy, go to the hospital. I'm in Lagos, so I can't just be flying down to you. Go to the hospital and tell me what they say. He said, once you talk to the doctor now, doctor will say 50,000. Doctor will say, I say, when the money become the problem, carry yourself and go to the hospital. So he said, he has taken this, he has taken. I said, don't take anything, just go to the hospital, let them run a test. So even those people we think have money also self-medicate. Yes.
Let me go on a very
go to the
short break.
hospital.
Hopefully when we come back, our guest will be here. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view.
You're far away and made. If you also coming when you're listening. And this now Abigail. And I dare on top of your view pigeon. I'm gonna bring you bass, boost.
I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say now my husband be this.
This now what you want.
After that day, the man
no go see him again.
If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey find the husband, you not see sign say the guy smart, you don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person we will give them to you, fact as he be.
Men no dey ever get fault. If baby not dey for her, na the woman.
Talk no dey be person, no make person no fit talk true inside. But for this country, we not say if we open curtain in the morning, waiting no good, no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanda gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
But look, we not even take responsibility for the children. Please the man.
And that's some poria.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Barkamu da warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
Thanks for staying with us. Now we have our doctor, a consultant cardiologist with Luth, Dr. Olusegun Joseph. Welcome to the show, sir.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Thanks for having me. I'm Dr. Akinson Olusegun Joseph.
All right.
I'm a cardiologist with the Lagos University Teaching Hospital.
Yes.
And it's good to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So there are a few things we want to know. Recently, lots of young people have been dying. They say they slumped and died. And the common causes of this slump is either a heart attack or high BP. That's what we know. But could you help us understand why? Maybe you can even give us a better understanding why this happens. And maybe we can then after that, we'll now take it to the next level.
Okay, thank you very much. We have what we call cardiovascular diseases, all right? And cardiovascular diseases are the disease of the heart and the blood vessels. It's not only restricted to the heart, the brain can be involved. Anywhere that is supplied by the blood vessels can be involved. The major organs, the brain, the heart, the kidneys. Now, what happens is that for a cardiovascular disease to evolve, there must, more often than not, there will be cardiovascular risk factors. The cardiovascular risk factors are quite numerous, and they are very much around with us. Hypertension, which is the same thing as high blood pressure. WHO defines hypertension as blood pressure of 140/90 and above for adults. A lot of people are living with hypertension without being aware of it. It's important that we check our blood pressures. Once you're an adult, please start checking your blood pressure. And in this part of the world, we have even found out that people tend to develop hypertension earlier at a younger age. So we have people now at the age of 18, 19.
Why?
Before it used to be, about 30, 35, 40. But now we have people around 18, 19 that are, hypertensive and they never knew. All right. So hypertension is one risk factor. Diabetes is another risk factor. That's high blood sugar. Obesity is a risk factor. Cholesterol, high cholesterol in the blood, dyslipidemia, what we call dyslipidemia, is a risk factor. Smoking, alcohol intake, all right, is a risk factor. Physical inactivity is a risk factor. And in our society, we're getting more sedentary, all right? Increased consumption of salt and salty diets is a risk factor, all right? We have a lot of them, clusters of them around us. Stress is a risk factor. Emotional stress, physical stress, all sorts of stress are risk factors for cardiovascular disease. Now, having said that, some people, may have blood pressure that is as high as 200/110, so to speak, all right? And there's nothing really happening. Worst case scenario, they may have what we call malaise, just a feeling of unwell, but nothing really, striking. At that point, anything can happen. They can develop stroke, they can have heart attack, they can have abnormal heart beats, and all of these can, predispose to, sudden cardiac death. Unfortunately, we have recorded quite a number in our society, very, very painfully so, but we need to take more, just like you said at the introduction, we need to take more, care about ourselves. We need to take more responsibility.
Right.
We need to go for check.
Okay.
Very, very important. And then pulmonary embolism, blood clots developing in, more often than not, the lower limbs, and then, dislodges and gets to the pulmonary circulation, blocks the pulmonary circulation. Some people don't have the chance to live, they just slump.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, so you mentioned, while you were mentioning risk factors, doctor, you said something about smoking. And, you have a lot of people who say, well, I don't smoke. But I had heard somewhere that when you live in Nigeria, especially in Lagos, with all the fumes going around, it's even worse than smoking. Please, could you confirm that and as a risk factor?
I didn't hear that well, but I perceive you're talking about both primary and secondary smoking, is that?
Yeah. Yes. But especially our lifestyle where we have a lot of generators and the fumes everywhere. So you may feel that I don't smoke or I don't live with...
Generator fumes, yes. I mean, generator fumes are as bad as...
Hello, sir.
Smoke. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please. Hello, sir. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, sir.
You can hear me? All right. Fine. You asked about generator fumes, right?
Yes.
All right, fine. So generator fumes as hazardous as any other, toxic smoke, all right, or fumes, all right. Now, I'm sure that you know that in this, in our climate, we've seen people who decided to bring in the generator just to avoid it being stolen, all right, and prevent it being stolen. And unfortunately, so they never wake up the next day. All right, so generator fumes are very, very toxic. All right, they emit carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a very deadly poison to humans. All right, and I mean, it blocks the space that oxygen is supposed to occupy, knocks off everything, and before you know it, the person, suffocates to death. All right, that's on the extreme side. For those who get exposed to generator fumes at work and this, what we advise that, look, let the exhaust, be away from where you are. Don't let the wind, blow it towards your window or your office. Keep your generator away from where you're working. All right, because over time, it can bring about what we call endothelial dysfunction. It can damage the blood vessels. It can damage the epithelial linings. It can damage the heart. It can predispose one to some of these cardiovascular diseases that we're talking about. So,
all right,
generator.
Let me get a few more questions in for you because of time.
As much as possible, we want our people to avoid them.
So I would like to know what sort of symptoms we can begin to look out for, because the stories we hear is that I did not feel anything, I did not hear anything, I did not sense anything. I was tired a few days back, but then it became better. I slept and I was okay, and I didn't know anything was wrong. So are there symptoms to look out for if someone is probably tending towards maybe cardio, heart attack, or blood clot? Or are there symptoms that once you start seeing in your body, you need to go and check it out?
Yeah, it's muffled. I can barely hear you. Can you repeat that question, please?
This is my
last. So can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So she wanted to find out if there are symptoms people should look out for before the slumping happens. Are there physical symptoms you can tell?
Okay, yes, fine. There are sometimes before someone slumps, there might have been some telltale, symptoms, features that the person unfortunately maybe didn't pay attention to. All right, for example, the heart skipping away, or just sometimes momentarily. Sometimes patients can have, palpitation. All right, and the person may not just take it as something so big. For some people, they have malaise. All right, they are not well, they are not sick. That's the best way I can say it. You just know that you are not in your best form. All right, and you're trying to just, cope with things that are happening. All right, for some people, they have very, very, nagging headache. For those who have very high blood pressure, they may have headache. All right, unfortunately, instead of going for simply checking their blood pressure, they buy paracetamol, they treat themselves for malaria. We hear little malaria, little typhoid. I tell people, when you have a headache, please, one of the things you must do is to check your blood pressure. There are so many causes of headache, and trust me, hypertension is one of the commonest cause of headache, and it won't show. Unfortunately, people will go chasing some other things. All right, and they won't, they will miss out the window of diagnosing the blood pressure. And before you know it, something happens, something strikes. Some other people may have chest pain while exerting themselves, and when they stop that activity, the chest pain ceases. Some people, instead of getting to the doctor, they will also, resort to self-help, self-medication. Take paracetamol, take ibuprofen, go to chemists, they just tell them, oh, you have little malaria, little typhoid, go and take this and that. And the window to diagnose that thing is missed. All right? For some other people, they just feel, they just notice that something is not just right. All right? But, they tell them that, oh, it's malaria, you're stressing yourself, go and rest and things like that. and
right, let me get a few more questions for you, sir.
Of having a check.
Okay. So can you?
However, there are also those that it is completely, silent, completely asymptomatic. Nothing happening, and something just strikes. All right, the person slumps, and unfortunately, there may be no time given for reaction, and the person goes.
Okay. Let me get a few more questions for you, sir.
If the person has been very, very careful about, it would have been nipped in the bud.
Okay, so can we touch on the advantage of, let's say, compression socks when traveling as relates to blood clots or any other issue? Advantages of the compression socks.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
So, all right, fine. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're embarking on a long distance travel, we always advise people to, as much as possible, try.
I'll tell you.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Looks like he's off.
I can't hear you again, sir. Can you hear me? No, it's the network. Okay, I guess we can't hear the consultant. So hopefully, once he gets back on, we can have a conversation with you. But tell us a bit about the compression socks for those of us.
Okay, so the compression socks, it's like when traveling, you're advised to wait because it's very tight. It grips you, and it allows flow of blood. So that doesn't, because most times when there's a long trip, yes, and you're not really you're not taking a walk, the probability of getting a blood clot is higher because of the pressure, on the flight. So it's advised, because of my health condition, I know that I can't travel without a compression socks. So you must wear compression socks. Anybody you can buy it and wait, because as we're getting older, the risk of blood clots, especially on long trips, is higher.
Hello, doctor, are you still there?
It's life no easy.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir, are you there? Can you hear me?
Getting older, sir, getting older.
Yeah, I can hear you very
Can you hear me?
lightly.
Yes,
go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes. Okay, can you hear me now, sir?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There's an important question I'd like you to answer before we go, because we'll have very little time. What is the most effective response to somebody who slumps? Because many people would feel that there's a bit of a window of opportunity to save the person's life. What can we do? What should we know as Nigerians that can help save the person's life once they slump?
What's the most what? I didn't hear that. Sorry.
Once somebody slumps, what's the most effective response to help the person's life, to save the person's life?
Okay, well, I mean, it's CPR, and it's something that we need to teach the populace. We need to teach, paramedics. We need to teach security agents. We need to teach people. CPR just means cardiopulmonary resuscitation. All right. There is a systemic way of doing it. Cardiac compression. All right, and then you give them, you breathe into the patient. But first of all, the most important is the cardiac compression. Very, very important. But it takes skill, okay, and one needs to be trained in it. But I mean, just trying to make sure the chest is compressed, trying to force the heart to start beating. Doing a compression can really, really go a long way in helping that person. But like I said, it's a skill that needs to be taught. But if one starts that, you lay the person on the bare floor to make sure that, a hard bare floor, and then you start, the cardiac compression. The center of the chest, sometimes towards the left side, you can give 15, and then external respiration, you breathe into the patient, or if there is what we call ambu bag, all right, that can also be done. But of course, ambu bag will be found in the setting of medical facility. But cardiac compression, cardiopulmonary resuscitation is something that can go a long way to help someone who has slumped.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Doctor. I think at this point I'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. But going back to what we're talking about.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We've lost quite a number of people. I remember Onye Kawenu slumped while she was performing. Big Bolaji too, the same thing happened just a couple of days ago. He passed on. A family friend to just young person in her mid-40s slumped, another person in her mid-50s slumped. CPR is crucial. We talked about it on our show before. We actually demonstrated it. But people need to learn how to do that CPR. It's crucial for every Nigerian to know, so that when you see somebody who slumps, instead of pouring water and gathering, everybody get some fresh air and put your hand in the middle of the chest, further to the left, closer to the left, and you pump 15 times, and then you blow air into the person's mouth. This is a thing we've done before on the show, but obviously we need to do more of it so that more Nigerians are aware of how to perform the CPR to save people's life. That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.